The producer of this great extravaganza wanted a big name, and so he called Hollywood and said, look, could I get that cute, funny blonde from Wheel of Fortune? And Vanna White wasn't available, and here I am, and...
For many years, Pat Sajak, the adored Wheel of Fortune presenter, has been a mainstay of American television. His personal life has been under investigation, however, even though he's been preoccupied with spinning wheels and giving out money. His abrupt resignation and health have been the subject of years' worth of stories. But someone close to him has stepped forward to shed light on the matter. What discovery has aroused this much interest? Furthermore, why did Pat Sajak step down from his role as Wheel of Fortune host? Prepare yourself for an amazing discovery. The 29-year-old daughter of Pat Sajak finally confirms what we all suspected. Pat Sajak's early life. Even though Pat Sajak may be looking forward to retirement and lounging on a beach with a margarita in hand, discussions about the program haven't exactly disappeared. There have been discussions about his retirement and his successor on the venerable program, while amid discussions concerning who will step into Sajak's large shoes is a popular subject. So let's start from scratch. Sajak's contributions to Wheel of Fortune have been widely acknowledged. In fact, he's been nominated 19 times for the Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Game Show Host, demonstrating his versatility and solidifying his reputation as a host. Guinness World Records honored him in 2019 for his longevity on the Wheel of Fortune, an accomplishment that's undoubtedly difficult given how often performances these days fail to last. His ability to maintain his effectiveness over such a long period of time is a credit to his abilities, reliability, durability, and capacity to captivate audiences with his gifts. Sajak was born on October 26, 1946 in Chicago, Illinois. He attended Farragut High School and Columbia College, Chicago, after receiving his diploma in 1964. Sajak was employed as a desk clerk at the Palmer House Hilton Hotel. The additional letter in Sajak may have confused you, but it wasn't an error. Prior to changing it to Sajak to more accurately represent its Americanized pronunciation, Sajak's last name was Sajak, a Polish surname that recalls his family history. He unofficially omitted the D when he started working in television. Though he was not very close to his father, Leonard Sajak, or his paternal grandparents, he was raised by two Polish-American parents on Chicago's West Side. His mother, Joyce Sajak, wed Walter Bacall in 1956 after his parents separated while he was a little child. Sajak lost touch with his father's side of the family after his father's death in 1961. When Sajak was a little youngster, he saw Jack Paar on The Tonight Show, which sparked his interest in broadcast entertainment. At night, I would sneak out of bed to see what Jack was up to, not to go out with the guys or grab a beer, but just to flip on The Tonight Show, Sajak remembered in a 2012 interview with Stanford University's Hoover Institution, a think tank focused on public policy. Sajak's passion for broadcast entertainment was sparked at an early age, and his career has been nothing short of amazing. How on earth did he get there is the question. Now, let's investigate it. Before the wheel turned, Pat Sajak became well-known after winning a competition to appear as a guest adolescent DJ on WLS Radio's Dick Biondi show. His broadcasting teacher, Al Parker, told him when he was a student at Columbia College, Chicago, that a local radio station, WEDC, was looking for a newsman. After submitting an application, Sajak was hired to work the midnight to 6 in the morning shift. He enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1968 and was sent to Vietnam, where he worked as an armed forces radio disc jockey. On An Officer in a Movie, a show on the military channel, Sajak admitted to messing up President Richard Nixon's 1969 Christmas broadcast to the troops. He unintentionally ended the stream too soon. Sajak realized what had happened and felt it was better to stop the transmission. In a 2014 interview with the USO, he revealed that he enlisted in the Army and received training as a clerk typist before finally serving as a financial clerk in Vietnam. After that, he was sent to Saigon to serve as a radio DJ. From October 1968 until December 1969, he hosted the Armed Forces Vietnam Network in the early morning hours. In the 1987 movie Good Morning Vietnam, Robin Williams played Adrian Cronauer, who had held the role. Sajak spent a year DJing at WNBS in Murray, Kentucky during the beginning of the 1970s. He also started DJing at Nashville's 50,000-watt WSM around this time, where he rose to prominence as the 2:30 to 5 p.m. afternoon personality. Pop music was being played throughout the day at WSM at the time, and Sajak's charm and skill rapidly won over the audience. Sajak was soon featured on screen by WSM-TV, now known as WSMV, the sister station to the radio station. Initially, he was a voiceover artist who created station identifications and anchors the 5-minute newscast during NBC's Today Show. Afterward, he moved on to become a weekend and stand-in weatherman, where he became good friends with anchor Dan Miller. When KNBC-TV in Los Angeles was looking for a weather reporter in 1977, they found Sajak in Nashville and his extraordinary skill. He started his lucrative broadcast career when he agreed to take a full-time position as a weather reporter for KNBC. The adage, "one man's food is another's poison," certainly applied in this case, as Sajak was able to soar to new heights thanks to a contract disagreement. Let's investigate this further. Sajak makes the wheel go round. Wheel of Fortune had done quite well in the ratings as a daytime show by the early 1980s. Chuck Woolery, the original host who had emceed the program from its premiere in January 1975, was in the midst of extending his agreement with Griffin. According to the account, he decided he wanted a larger share of the cake after weighing the show's performance. When Chuck Woolery was requested for a pay raise of $500,000, he thought the amount was reasonable compared to other hosts at the time, but he had other plans. In a 2007 interview, Woolery said that Griffin, a disciplined businessman, also had unconventional views. Griffin was unwilling to comply with Woolery's requests and would only agree to pay $400,000. Unwilling to let go of Woolery, NBC reached a solution by providing substitutes to make up the salary gap. NBC withdrew its offer to Woolery when Griffin, offended by the network's suggestion, threatened to move the program to competitor CBS. That means Wheel needed a new host since Woolery was out of the program permanently. And a candidate for the program emerged who was qualified for the part, but not well known enough. In 1988, Griffin told the New York Times Magazine that Sajak's on-air antics captured his attention as he searched for a new MC. Griffin reportedly told the Washington Post, "He was always playing practical jokes and he had great charm. I recall that he used to perform the weather while wearing a bandage over his right eye. The bandage was covering the left eye after a pause. Pat continued to do the weather without saying anything." Griffin was drawn to Sajak's unwavering dedication, which has characterized his career. Griffin thought he had this guy, but Sajak wasn't a well-liked enough figure, so NBC president Fred Silverman and other executives instructed him to find another candidate. Griffin was unwilling to give up and threatened to halt producing new episodes of the program unless Sajak's inclusion was accepted. When Silverman was fired for persistent programming errors and replaced with Brandon Tartikoff, the matter was rendered irrelevant. Accepting the job, Sajak had previously hosted 2 game show prototypes in 1980, Puzzlers for Mark Goodson and Press Your Luck for Ralph Edwards. The first program that Sajak presented was on December 28, 1981. After White joined the cast in 1983, the show's syndicated nightly version started airing, and it's been on television ever since. The Great Wheel by Sajak. Griffin made a brilliant assessment of Sajak's character. It's only logical that Sajak would have been under a lot of pressure to deliver the goods, since Griffin had to dispute with both the president and executives of NBC to get Sajak on the wheel. He turned out to be a wheel of fortune for both him and the program. Naturally, Sajak became well known. In addition to winning 3 daytime Emmys for Best Game Show Host, he was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2011. In 1994, he was also awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Sajak's wheel career was officially acknowledged by Guinness World Records in 2019 as the longest for any game show presenter on the same program. It was even longer than the careers of iconic The Price is Right host Bob Barker and late Jeopardy host Alex Trebek. That year, Sajak and White celebrated 7,000 episodes together, and the number has continued to rise. Because of his on-screen success, Sajak has made the program a family affair. His daughter, Maggie, now works as Wheel's social reporter. Sajak appeared in the 1982 comedy picture Airplane 2, the sequel, in a tiny part as a newscaster from Buffalo, New York. Sajak departed the daytime edition of Wheel when his late-night chat program on CBS debuted in January 1989. Rolf Benerschk, a former place kicker for the San Diego Chargers, took Sajak's position. Bob Goen took over for Benerschk when the daytime show moved to CBS in July of the same year. Before taking over as host of Wheel, Sajak had many appearances on Super Password from 1984 to 1989 and Password Plus in 1981. He made guest appearances on many other game programs, including Dreamhouse, Just Men, and Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour. From January 9, 1989 until April 13, 1990, Sajak had a brief late-night chat program on CBS. Sajak's old buddy, Dan Miller, a former anchor at Nashville's WSM-TV, joined him as a sidekick. Later, when King was unavailable to present CNN's Larry King Live, Sajak started hosting the program often as a guest host. Sajak started filling in for Regis Philbin as a regular host on the syndicated show Live with Regis and Kelly. In 2003, Sajak was the anchor of Fox News' Pat Sajak Weekend as well. The Pat Sajak Baseball Hour was a syndicated weekly radio sports discussion program that Sajak presented starting in at least 2002. Unfortunately, scheduling issues forced the show to terminate in 2006. Sajak works as an external director for Eagle Publishing, a conservative publishing company. He's been on the Claremont Institute's board of directors. Sajak played the role of Kevin Hathaway on the daytime serial opera Days of Our Lives on NBC in 1983. Sajak had an appearance as himself on the kids' television program Rugrats in 1994. Sajak and his other ventures. When Sajak and Vanna White were competitors on an Alex Trebek-hosted Wheel program in 1997, Sajak played an April Fool's Day practical joke on the show's audience. Both Sajak and White's wins were given to charitable organizations, in this case the Boy Scouts of America and the American Cancer Society. Sajak replaced Trebek as the host of a normal Jeopardy program in exchange. In addition, Sajak made an early appearance with Jeff Probst and Neil Patrick Harris in an April Fool's episode in 2010. Sajak had an appearance in the comedy The King of Queens Inner Tube episode in 2001, playing himself. In 2010, Sajak started contributing to the National Review Online. In his first article, Sajak questioned if voting on matters that directly affect them should be permitted for public workers. Additionally, he's made contributions to Ricochet, a social networking and center-right Politico website. The earliest and most well-known puzzle game that Sajak has written is Lucky Letters, which made its debut in 2007. Sajak and puzzle creator David L. Hoyt created the games, which are syndicated by Universal UClick. Sajak is the head of the Hillsdale College Board of Trustees as of 2019. He spent 15 years as vice chair before a private Christian university called Hillsdale. Sajak has made appearances on Stuggitz's segment on the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio and on Le Batard's other program, Highly Questionable. Sajak has been listed as a consulting producer since 2020 when Wheel of Fortune's 39th season began. Sajak and White have been hosting ABC's primetime celebrity Wheel of Fortune since 2021. It was revealed in September 2021 that Sajak and White have agreed to stay on as Wheel of Fortune hosts until the 2023-2024 season. Sajak provided the voice of a singing bust in Muppets Haunted Mansion TV special in 2021. Disney's Candlelight Processional features celebrity narrators on a regular basis, with Sajak making appearances most recently in 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2021. Sajak said on June 12, 2023, that he will step down from his role as Wheel of Fortune host in 2024 after the end of the 41st season of the program. After a long and remarkable career on the program, Sajak appeared on the program a few times, and there were whispers that he was becoming tired of it before he announced his retirement. Livid Pat Sajak. As vicious as usual, Pat Sajak went on the attack. When a participant kept giving the wrong answers to problems, he became irate and said, "Why are you bothering?" The event began with the participant, Debbie, solving all 3 riddles incorrectly in the first triple toss-up of the evening. Debbie said taking a nap, but Sajak informed her it was not the right response. A few minutes later, one of the competitors called out hailing a cab, solving the mystery. Debbie and her granddaughter called in again with the incorrect response, saying it was catching a fish, but Sajak rejected it again. Debbie and her granddaughter were doubtful this time. Debbie and her granddaughter buzzed in incorrectly during the 3rd and final toss-up. It was clear that Sajak was angry, and he allowed it to overcome him. In a tone that may be seen as berating, he questioned why Debbie was bothering. Then he urged the other candidates to call in with their response. The anchor, who's used to receiving criticism on social media, has already lost her cool and yelled at a player. Once, when a 22-year-old participant seized the envelope during the game show's bonus round, Sajak cautioned the fan-favorite player, "Don't ever do it again." Fans also criticized Sajak for giving a competitor an impossible extra task. Cesar Radaja, a contestant, angered the presenter by saying that no one claims that was a pivotal factor when he couldn't properly answer it in the allotted time. The elderly presenter is engaged in strange conduct on a number of episodes, including choking a participant, saying he hides under letter turner Vanna White's yard, asking a contestant to take off his shirt, and pulling on his beard. Pat Sajak is well known for his quick-witted quips on the popular game show, even with his sharp side. Turning the wheel. Bye-bye, Sajak. Many viewers who had become used to seeing him serve as the show's anchor were excitedly awaiting the event that would bring a memorable and legendary voyage on the Wheel of Fortune to an end when he announced his retirement, and they weren't let down. On Friday, June 7th, Pat Sajak made his last appearance as host of Wheel of Fortune. With an astounding number of views, this was the game show's greatest audience since April 2020. The adored host's last show had an incredible 11 million views and was the most viewed program of the week across all broadcast and cable networks, except sports, according to a June 18th report published in Variety. It topped the ratings list for the week with a household rating of 6 points, too. Sajak's 5 last programs all placed in the top 15 broadcasts of the week, which is a tremendous accomplishment. As the program's beloved presenter said goodbye, ABC's repeats of Celebrity Wheel of Fortune likewise saw an increase in viewers. The June 7th edition was the highest viewed non-sports telecast on a summer Friday in 4 years, according to the site, with over 4 million people. In his last show, Sajak delivered a moving, direct-to-camera speech, capping off an incredible 41-season run. In reflecting on his time on the program, he expressed appreciation for the audience. "It's been an incredible privilege to be invited into millions of homes night after night, year after year, decade after decade. And I've always felt that the privilege came with a responsibility to keep this daily half hour a safe place for family, fun, no social issues, no politics, nothing embarrassing, I hope, just a game," Sajak stated. Pat Sajak saw that the program had developed into something much deeper when he thought back on his experience. It had developed into a place where kids could learn the basics of reading, people from different origins could improve their English language abilities, and neighbors, family, and friends from many generations could gather. He was really honored to have contributed to this phenomenon in any tiny way. Sincerity betrayed his appreciation to the audience for welcoming him and letting him into their life. Not content to stop there, Sajak also thanked his co-host Vanna White from the bottom of his heart on the last show. He recognized her as his professional equal, pointing out that she handles the program with the same seriousness and attention that he does. But she still has a modest and grounded manner. The idea of how the last 40 or more years may have been different if he'd been paired with someone as self-absorbed as Sajak shivered to himself. He complimented Vanna for her heartfelt parting letter in the last show and congratulated her for being as modest and sweet as she seems. In his farewell program, which aired on June 6th, Vanna White paid poignant homage to Sajak, highlighting their long-lasting friendship and collaborative relationship. She gave Sajak credit for helping her feel at ease and self-assured when she first began appearing on the program. In addition to growing up on television, they had also experienced a great deal of life's milestones, behind-the-scenes moments, and shared many memories with their families throughout the years. Vanna loved and considered them her favorite life events, milestones, and off-camera moments spent with their families outside the studio. This sparked rumors about who would succeed Sajak in the role. Walking in the shoes. The veteran host thought back on what he called the best part of the last couple of years, spent collaborating with his daughter, Maggie Sajak, the social reporter from the game show. He expressed gratitude for having the opportunity to see his daughter grow in her role and as a person. He said that Maggie's popularity stems from her kindness, humility, and intelligence in addition to her skill and humor. Sajak said that he's had time to sort of get used to his leaving and that it's been a little bit wistful and all that in a recent sit-down interview with his daughter. However, he's savoring everything, appreciating everything, and thinking back on the fantastic run. His glowing remarks about his daughter and her comfort level in the past have unsurprisingly led to speculation that she is Sajak's logical successor to the Wheel of Fortune. It's a fancy idea, but there have also been other names connected. Vanna White, who's been hosting with Sajak since 1982, is perhaps the most logical choice to succeed him as host. When Sajak had emergency intestinal surgery on November 8, 2019 to remove a blockage, White hosted the program while Sajak was on medical leave. Maggie, Sajak's daughter, turned letters in Sajak's place. White has previously discussed how, even after 40 years, she manages to keep the program feeling new. She said that similar to the show's several challenges, she's wearing a different clothing. She thus approaches each show as if it were her first, and that makes it so much more fun. Well, if White continues to flip letters, she and Maggie may form a fantastic team. Maggie, age 28, has been producing and starring in a lot of social media material for Wheel of Fortune. White, who appreciated her on-air abilities, instantly feels a connection with Maggie. Sajak's successor. Though no one will be able to host Wheel of Fortune exactly like Pat Sajak, a seasoned performer will attempt it. After 41 seasons, Sajak will be replaced by Ryan Seacrest, who was just 7 years old when he started hosting the popular word game program in 1981. In September, Seacrest is scheduled to take the car keys from Sajak. In a statement at the time, Seacrest remarked, "I'm truly humbled to be stepping into the footsteps of the legendary Pat Sajak. I can say that watching Pat and Vanna on our television screens for an unprecedented 40 years has been a privilege and pure joy for me and the rest of America. They make us smile every night and feel right at home." Referring to his return to game show hosting as a full-circle moment, Seacrest notes that he began hosting Click, a Merv Griffin-hosted game program in 1997. Seacrest said in 2023 that he was excited to carry on the legacy of spinning the wheel and collaborating with the legendary Vanna White. With decades of experience in the entertainment industry, Ryan Seacrest has hosted many shows on television such as Live with Kelly and Ryan, American Idol, and Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. Since the late 1990s, he's also hosted a variety of events, including Olympic Games and red carpets for the Oscars. In April, Seacrest said to Variety that he was preparing for his assignment by studying the rulebook and all the scenarios that the rulebook has inside of it. All right, enough about Pat Sajak's life on TV. Life after the wheel. Sajak has had an interesting life off the Wheel of Fate, just as he does on the program. Photographer Leslie Brown Sajak is Sajak's wife, and the two of them have a son named Patrick Michael James Sajak, who was born on September 22, 1990. After graduating from medical school in 2021, Michael avoided the TV life. He's now a doctor and has a daughter. Maggie Marie Sajak, who was born on January 5, 1995, and works as a social reporter on Wheel of Fortune. They have a house in Los Angeles and a residence in Severna Park, Maryland. In a short video that's shown at George Washington's home, Mount Vernon, Sajak is used as a narrator to explain to visitors the highlights of the property. Sajak was the owner of the Annapolis, Maryland-based AM radio station WNAV from 1998 until the end of 2021. Republican Sajak has contributed many pieces to the conservative publication Human Events. Additionally, he often posts and participates in podcasts on the right-wing site Ricochet. On climate change, Sajak disagrees with the consensus of scientists. In addition, he contributes financially to the Young America's Foundation, which arranges conservative lectures for college students. Sajak clarified in his last appearance as the game show's host that he did not include politics into his hosting responsibilities, stating that the program had no social issues, no politics, and was just a game. This is despite the political commentary that he's done outside Wheel of Fortune. To further cement his fortune, Sajak invested in the Golden Baseball League in 2005. The Golden Baseball League is an independent professional baseball league that includes clubs in California, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Alberta, British Columbia, and Baja California. At a March 2012 Baltimore Orioles versus Boston Red Sox spring training game, Sajak made a cameo appearance in the broadcast booth and admitted to having called a few baseball games in the past. He also has a strong passion for the NHL franchise, the Washington Capitals. Prior to Game 3 of the 2018 Stanley Cup Finals, he made an on-ice appearance. He had a season ticket for many years. One of the most successful and long-running game show hosts of all time is Pat Sajak, and he has a sizable bank account to prove it. His estimated net worth has grown to $75 million. Although Sajak receives a salary of $14 million per year from his presenting role, the host makes more money by licensing his picture to Wheel of Fortune slot machines across the world. Since 1996, Sajak has received payments totaling at least $15 million per year from royalties, licensing fees, and other expenses associated with granting permission to use his picture on about 20,000 Wheel of Fortune slot machines in casinos all over the globe. Pat Sajak's farewell appearance as host of Wheel of Fortune will change the format of a daily television show that shapes the lives of millions of Americans, which is a tribute to his skills and lasting influence. If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon